there's this camaraderie going on. This is how they pass their time while they're waiting for their customers, and it's incredibly cheap way of going from A to B, provided you are willing to take a bit of pollution, because the streets are quite polluted, sadly, because there's so much traffic and so on. I wish we had taken, looking back, I wish we had taken some masks with us, you know. So that was interesting. Later on, we then decided to take taxis. More expensive, it took longer. But I mean, it's a wonderful experience to sort of sit in the tuk-tuk. Um, okay. Where we stayed in Mumbai, it's a suburb of Mumbai called Andheri, which is quite a well-to-do suburb. And just to compare India, Mumbai, to, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you see different cars now. So you can see the sign of, higher income and people's affordability to buy cars and so on. In the past, you didn't see that many cars, and the cars that you saw were one of those, the older version of Fiat. Um, so this is just one of the streets, and it tells you about the change in India. There's another thing, and people who know me, they know that I like investing money. So I bought this business, by the way, and renamed it to my name, Harish Plus, because I was selling lots and lots of things. I'm joking, actually. It's just a name that I saw, and I thought, wow, this is an opportunity to take a couple of photos, which I did. Okay, so this is the shop we came to. Apologies for the quality of the. I mean, I wasn't able to do any editing. It's a long story, but I'm not at the moment. I'm not able to use Photoshop on my machine. And then we went to this place. This guy ran a stationery shop, very small shop. I had a quick chat with him, and he was telling me about the economy and how small businesses are having a hard time because prices have gone up, rents have gone up, and so on. Uh, Looking at my notes, right. Then we we're just walking around, it's not far from the station actually, and the side street, lots of photo opportunities in side street and opportunity to talk to people. Lots of people working outside, selling things outside, and this woman, I suppose, was making a living out of selling vegetables and, looking at the vegetables and fresh vegetables, really. Um, Couple of friends who are running a business, who were running a business, people doing business in streets. Mobile phones are so popular. Everybody has one. And I think it's kind of opened lots of things up, not only in terms of communication, but business as well. And quite a few people you talk to, they seem to be really good at using their mobile phone. A major form of communication. So, sorry, so anybody say anything? Okay. All right. People at lunchtime, going for lunch and so on. It's quite interesting to observe. This reminded me of a film. I think it was called Men in Black. I can't remember very much about the film, but it's as if I can imagine a film in which three people are walking and going somewhere, and some action is going to happen. I took a quick picture. Retail therapy, hustle and bustle. People love shopping. People with money, I mean, for some reason, shops are always full. Because of the sheer number of people in Mumbai. So the business must be good. Of course, at the moment, they're having a hard time. Yeah, I met up with these friends who were all business people, actually, and they were having a break, having coffee, tea. Everybody drinks tea over there. And they offered us tea. We said, no, 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 no. We're just passing by. We just had tea. And so I had a quick conversation with them. And one of them actually was a property developer and had properties in the same streets. And you know, we chatted about the economy and so on. And um, sometimes I would ask them a question, you know, what do you think of Narendra Modi? And you get different answers. And some of them are for him and others were kind of, well, you know, he's quite a divisive figure. So there's a bit of politics in India. This is the building, 2 or 3, I don't know how many. One of the guys here actually owned this, and then he was giving me some insights into this and who lived there and so on. Usually they rent them out or they rent shops out and so on. I think the rate of return is fairly high because not everybody is able to afford to buy their homes. So the rental market is really good in Mumbai. Passed by this, I was quite interested in the number of motorbikes and the quick chat with this woman. She was, you know, part of the family business, and she was just looking after the business, sitting outside and, you know, relaxing, and her sons were inside the shop working, etc. Now this is quite interesting. I saw this, you know, you can see the cart. It's quite a long cart, by the way. And these guys were waiting for their next job. And what they do is in the area, there were wholesalers and retailers. So retailers will buy from wholesalers, and this guy will just push the goods. And sometimes they can actually fit quite a lot of goods in this cart. That's why you need more than one person. So I said to them, well, are you having a break? I said, no, 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 we're just waiting for some work and so on. So I said, then after a while, I said, do you mind if I take a picture of you? He said, yeah, only if you buy us tea. So I said, fine, I'll buy you 2 teas. So nearby there was a chaiwala, so ordered some tea and I took some shots. And really interesting to talk to these guys. And then I took a portrait of this guy. It's a wonderful present, you know, wearing a Gandhian hat, cap. This is another guy. Then came across this guy who was selling fruits, and this lady was trying to decide what to buy. At the end, she decided not to buy anything. 3 friends, you know, reminded me of a Bollywood film. You know, people congregate together, maybe planning something and so on. One of them turned out to be a chaiwala, and he'll come a bit later. This guy selling flowers, and there was a temple nearby. I mean, you know, we talk about marketing strategy. I mean, people they have these natural skills. I suppose because of the motivation in making a living, you know, you got to make a living or there is no welfare state. So this guy set up a store just selling flowers because the temple was nearby. People come and buy flowers and they go to the temple and etc. This is the chaiwala. So I took a shot of him and so on. This is the guy we bought the tea from for those guys who were waiting for the next customer, waiting for the next job. So it was quite interesting, chaiwala. And form of transport, you see quite a lot of this actually. Uses less fuel, but you know, we get the job done. It's a big one, of course, truck. Marks and Spencer. I said to Clemenza, let's go and have a look for 5 minutes. You know, I mean, you know, we are familiar with Marks and Spencer. We're not going to take any pictures and so on. According to Clemenza, you know, the selection of clothes weren't particularly good. So that's Marks and Sparks in Mumbai. You do see these things, unfortunately. This is the extent of poverty, you know. Less so now, I think, in terms of number of people living in the streets. You find this everywhere in India, sadly. She probably lives, you know, homeless and just lives on the street. At the same time, you have this, you know, good quality car, BMW or whatever. Okay, this is the train station in Mumbai. It's got a very long name, it's difficult to remember. It used to be called Victoria Terminus, built by the British, of course. And it reminded me of a train station that we saw in Melbourne, And I think probably St. Pancras Station, you know, the structure and the architecture and so on. It's quite interesting. So the name of the station is Chakrabarti Shivaji Maharaj Terminus. So whenever we took a taxi to go to the, well, a couple of times, taxi to go to the station, because from that place you can go anywhere you wanted to go. So I would say Victoria Terminus, and they will understand. This is the taxi driver. This is the main train station. Huge, really huge. Just give you an insight about the station. So the, you know, train services and so on. I was told that trains do run on time. How they do it, I don't know. With sheer number of, you know, so many people. Another shot of people just waiting for the trains. And these, I believe, were, you know, people who were taking a long distance train. There are lots of night trains in India. So, you know, you get there in the morning and so on. We considered taking a train from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. That was our next stop. But then we decided that, you know, it was going to take too long, really. And we thought we would just take a flight, which we did. This is quite interested in this, you know, I mean, this is British design. Next time I'll go to London and go to St. Pancras and other station, I'm going to find out more about the station. Some of them were built at the same time, including the station that I mentioned in Melbourne. This is a guy we met at the station. It's just a brief story. He had got a new job working on a cruise liner, and he had gone somewhere to get his visa or somewhere. He came from South India and so on. A quick chat and took a picture. The next interesting thing I found was a place where they have hundreds of people who wash clothes. Interesting history behind that. Just put Dhobi Ghat in Mumbai, and you know, you'll be able to find out more about the history. But you know, these people, men and women, who do washing for local hotels and B&Bs and hostels and so on. And you know, once or twice in the past, where we stayed in a smaller hotel, and you know, if you wanted to have your clothes washed, you only have to give 24-hour notice, and they just take the clothes in the morning. At the end of the evening or the following morning, they just bring a clothes, you know, nicely washed, ironed, and so on, for next to nothing. This was, you know, in those days, it was about maybe 10 years ago. So they just carry on doing this. Oops. Yeah, okay. I've lost the presentation for some reason. Okay, just bear with me, please. Oh, dear. Can you hear me? Just raise your hand.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay, good. Great. Okay, great.
Well done, Harish.
All right, this is another shot of this Dhobi Ghat. Dhobi means people who wash clothes. This is another shot. There was this small station. These people are just waiting, killing time. So this was the last day. So we were in Mumbai for 3 nights. And we did quite a lot in 2 days. The first day was just more or less gone, really. Only just able to go out for a walk and go for a meal. So this was on the last day. I particularly wanted to visit, you know, Dhobi Ghat, which we only passed by it last time, but didn't have time to stop and see. So that I found it interesting in terms of photography as well. They're waiting for the train. Can you hear me all right? Yes. All right, are you still with me?
Yes.
You can mute it and just give me some quick feedback. Shall I carry on?
Yes, please do.
Okay. All right, I'm not talking too much, am I?
No. Very interesting.
Okay. All right, good. You see, this is it with the online thing, because I think, you don't get instant feedback because you can't read the body language very well. Whereas if you're in a room, in a training situation.
It's lovely. I'm really enjoying it, Harish.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay, good. Okay, thank you for that.
I'm just a bit disappointed, Harish, that you didn't sing us a song from a Bollywood movie.
I wish I could sing, actually. All right. I like to play some tabla at some stage. Okay, so Ahmedabad, a very interesting place. It used to be the capital of Gujarat. My mother came from Gujarat, and my father came from just outside Mumbai. And just a couple of things I wanted to show clemencia, one of which was Gandhi's ashram called Sabarmati Ashram. Sabarmati is the name of the river. And of course, Narendra Modi was the chief minister of Gujarat. And at that time, Ahmedabad was the capital of Gujarat. And now Gandhinagar is capital, which is not far from Ahmedabad. So Gandhi was at this ashram for 12 years, during the Indian struggle for independence. So we arrive in Ahmedabad, we take a taxi to our hotel, and it was about just after lunchtime. So we went for a walk, and the first people we came across was this agarbatti merchants. Agarbatti is joss sticks. The whole shop was full of joss sticks, incredibly inexpensive and good quality. So we bought some, we brought some presents for our family. We gave them some joss sticks, really good quality joss sticks, and quite interesting. So we had a quick discussion about how the business was going, etc. And very nice guys. And then we were walking, and we came across these two women. This is the mother, this is the daughter. They were living in a hut by the side of the street, pavement, basically. Not only just two of them, but the whole family. One of them was her I think this is the daughter-in-law, and this is the daughter. You can see the daughters. I mean, they had next to nothing. They were just waiting there. And these people would go early in the morning. They'd finish at about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock by the time it was about 3. And they'll come and just rest. This is the bed. This is the bed. They're sitting on the bed. So I had a quick chat with them and asked them if I could take some shots. And they said, yes, of course. Where are you from? That kind of thing. And they said, oh, we start early in the morning and we're finishing out about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and come here to rest and spend time with the children and so on. And the husband had a stall, just a small stall. I think they were doing some kind of repair work. I can't remember what it is. They may have been fixing cars on the street. Not everybody can afford to go to a dealer. They either do it themselves or they go to people like this, and some of them are, able to offer a good service, I suppose. So walking, and this is, of course, another shot. I like their smile. I like the smile of this little girl. So I had to take a shot. And I gave some money to the mother, and I said, this woman, and I said, she said, no. I said, please, this is a small gift for you. Buy something for your grandchildren. And she was very pleased. This woman, this is the mother. Grandmother. I mean, you can see the smile.
The older woman.
Amazing presence. Sorry? What?
No, I just said.
And then next day we went to, or a couple of days after that. Sorry? Okay. I mean, we did so many other things. I mean, I had to cut down, for the purpose of the presentation, from about a few hundred shots to just over 100. This is a giant temple, and you can see the carving here. I mean, the craftsmanship, it's just amazing. Spent a bit of time there. We couldn't take photos inside, of course. And this is a part of the temple as well, the opposite side of the square. There's a square kind of thing. And that was quite interesting. I was quite interested in the carving and how long it must have taken to build the temple and where the money came from, etc. Came from, of course, the kings at that time, in India and so on. And this was a Sunday, and people are just relaxing. You can see the activities here. They bring food and children, and everybody's included, and they have a party. It's quite amazing, and they have a way of relaxing, which you can see that this baby is just sleeping, while the adults are having a good time. Bottled water, by the way, is caught up in India. Everybody drinks bottled water, those who can afford it. And the water, lots of stories about water. You've got to be careful. We were very careful. We would even clean our teeth in bottled water because we weren't quite sure. Because once another trip, I was in Delhi, and I was quite sick actually. My stomach was upset for about a couple of days and so on. And after that, I decided that I won't use water from the tap. It's just a habit really from the past. Went to spend quite a bit of time, almost more than half a day at Sabarmati Ashram. We're going to spend quite a lot of time communicating with the British and other politicians and so on in those days. And there was a woman who was, showing tourists how to use this to make clothes, to weave. That was interesting, and of course, quite a lot of information about Gandhi and his life and so on. And lots of people go there, mainly Indians actually, who visit this. Those people who visit Ahmedabad, Gandhi again, and smaller temple. On another day we went to, quite interesting. I wanted to compare big temples with smaller temples. It's interesting to see how they get the money, and sometimes they have a list of donations that they had got to build this temple, which is quite interesting. Most of them business people. And then we saw, not far from Sabarmati Ashram, there's kind of a cottage industry where linen was being made. And that I found very interesting. And you'll see later that I got to be carried away buying things. And so this guy was reading, quick chat with him. Very old machine, and there's another shot of him, making linen. And then I bought a few shirts, and I bought fabric because I wanted one of those longer shirts, kameez. And I got carried away and bought about 12 handkerchiefs. And suddenly they looked at me and said, "Are you sure you want to have a handkerchief?" They were more or less the size of a tea cloth, but I've been using it as my mask. So there was a purpose behind that, of course. So this is the guy who was doing all the selling. And then we came across this guy who we took the fabric to, and he actually, although they dealt in ladies, women's clothes, he was able to find someone for me to make a shirt. Kameez. This is his son, it's a family business, lots of family members working there. It was started by the mother, I was told. The business was started by the mother. It's not just the men who are in charge all the time, women actually are in charge as well. And this is the guy, quite interesting. He is a Muslim, and these people are Hindus, Gujaratis. So I was able to speak to them in Gujarati. So he made the shirt for me within 24 hours. Incredibly inexpensive. He charged something like, I don't know, less than £5, like that. This is the mosque we came across. These are the people we met. IT guy who was accepted by a company in Manchester to do some IT work. So he's looking forward to visiting England. That's his girlfriend. So that's India tour finished now. Just briefly, Dubai is a monarchy, one of 7 Emirates of United Arab Emirates. Population nearly 4 million. About 80% or more than 80% are migrants. People just work there. They're very strict about immigration and so on. They don't give their passport to anybody except, you have to be a local person. Largest business hub in the Middle East, major global transport hub for passengers and cargo, and so on. Famous for ultra-modern buildings and lifestyle. Some of the buildings were very interesting. This is our hotel where we stayed. I used to stay there when I used to work in Dubai. Lovely hotel, very comfortable. This is the lobby of the hotel. It's good to just sit there and observe. And you see images like this. These are the local people. They come there to the restaurant or to the cafe, or maybe they were staying there, I don't know. This is the underground station in Dubai. I found it very interesting, very modern, very clean, very efficient. This is the inside of the underground station. Now, this was the highlight. We spent quite a bit of time. We spent nearly a day there. Souk means a market. There's so many different markets. And retail therapy, again, this is part of the market. And the gold souk. Dubai is very famous for gold souk. Most of the traders, most of the business people were Indians. Because, fashion, spices, any kind of spices you want, you get it. Nuts and so many other things. This was, I find it quite interesting. Shisha, where you smoke, you put tobacco and some essence in it, and this was the place that sold shishas and things to put in the shisha. I don't know what you call it in English, but you put it in there and you have a pipe and you draw and so on. And some of my clients used to do that, and they offered it to me, but it wasn't for me. Some of the shops you go to, and you see thousands and thousands of sandals. This is herbs, herb souk, so many different types of herbs. Sometimes, occasionally, you see Europeans who come to the market, but you don't see many. This is another store. Interesting things. We went to a museum, local museum, and this has got a history because Dubai started as a fishing village, and later on, it was people went there to buy pearls, and then of course they found petroleum. Got their independence, and of course they're in charge of all the oil and so on. There's very little oil left in Dubai, but other parts of Emirates, there's quite a bit of oil, particularly in Abu Dhabi. I think Abu Dhabi is something like probably up to 30% world supply of oil. Went to a very nice place for tea and something to eat. This is the old Dubai. And went to an art gallery that we saw. This is the tea house we went to. Skyscrapers, and so on. Now, food. I really enjoyed food at this place. We had some very good food in India as well. But this is a place, just amazing food. And this is aloo papri chaat. It's got tamarind water with yogurt and other things and spices, so absolutely delicious. And this is a dokra, which my mother used to make. And this is pani puri, again with tamarind water. Absolutely delicious. We went to a mall just once, Dubai Mall, which is quite famous, and saw this woman playing violin, classical tune. Another highlight was, the light show on water near this seven-star hotel, and that was very interesting. It took quite a lot of pictures, and that's it. So-
Music with the waterfalls.
Sorry.
Music, the waterfalls.
They had music as well. Yes.
Movement. There was music with the waterfalls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was very
And they will
interesting.
change color as well.
Yeah. Now I'm going to remove myself from sharing now, okay? From screen sharing. So that I can see you properly. Right.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Harris. That was
It was
welcome.
really fascinating.
yes. Yeah. Could I
Very good.
ask one question?
Of course.
A number of the photos have the people, and they have the spot in the middle, which is the sort of the normal thing we see, the red spot. But some of them
All
had
right.
sort of different. They had the red lines around it, or different ways of doing it. Is that a tribal significance, religious significance, or?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. On some days of the week, and some people do it every day. It's called tilak. So they put it's got a religious significance. Yeah, it means that you've done your prayer, and I don't know. It must have something. I don't really know, but yeah, it's quite common.
Yeah. Yes. I said.
Other people do it. Women do it when just show to the world that they are married.
Right.
And some women will do it all the time.
Yeah. So I've seen there's just a single spot.
Yeah.
That's the standing one. There are a couple of guys that had sort of the line.
Yes.
Around.
Yeah. That's to do with the religious thing in the morning. They call it puja. Basically praying. My mother used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to pray.
But she didn't have all the time the red spot.
She didn't have that all the time, no.
Right.
Because you see, we lived in Africa, so it was kind of it wasn't very strict. I was born in Africa. I was born in Tanzania, so I was able to go to India. And this was my fifth visit to India.
Yeah.
And every time I went to India, I saw some changes. Certainly, quite a bit of economic development is happening. But the economic theory of trickling effect. It's not working because there are still people at the bottom are still experiencing quite a bit of poverty. And at the moment, I don't know how some people are surviving with healthcare and so on. Although, it was in the news yesterday that in one day they tested. How true it is, I don't know. 1 billion people.
Yeah.
How they did it, I don't know. So there must be, if it's true, the infrastructure must be amazing.
Better than we've got.
Yeah.
When I had a client who exclusively delivered training through his trainers like myself and so many other trainers to managers from Nigeria. And I used to hear that many Nigerians used to go to India for their operations and healthcare because it was not only cheaper, but according to them, the service was very good for those people who can pay. Now, we're talking about private here. There are private hospitals. They must be contributing to, sort of elimination, dealing with COVID-19, I'm sure. So.
Harish, it's Joy.
Talking of which, am I on? I'm on mute, aren't I? Your images conveyed fantastically the hustle and the bustle of the street and the lot of people.
Yeah,
it would be so interesting and sad to look at those same sites today, given that that wretched virus has hit India. So
it is very sad.
Because India is just famous for its teeming humanity, teemingly chaotic mass and mix of people. Side by side, interesting.
Yeah, I think it's I was told there are stories that people go to India, and some people just take the next flight back because they feel so sad, and they also see, I suppose this is a learned behavior. you also see, for example, not this time, but last time when I was in India, meet up with some friends. I went on my own. There was an opportunity to deliver some training over there, but then it didn't work out, which was fine. I mean, I just wanted to see my friends, and we were walking in a street of Dubai, not Dubai, Delhi, New Delhi, and I saw Hilton Hotel. So I said to my friend Sanjay, let's go inside. I'm really interested because I've always been interested in how people live. And you saw these enormously wealthy Indians, particularly women, showered themselves with lots of gold and diamonds and so on. Very expensive hotels. And of course, they were staying there and so on. As soon as you come outside, what do you see? You see people begging, to put together money for their food. And that was very sad. I mean, I couldn't live in India, actually. I couldn't, I mean, I had an opportunity, when I finished my school in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, my family said to me, where do you want to study? Why don't you go to India? Maybe it'll be better for you. I said, no, either I'll go to UK or I don't study, or I will do a correspondence course. So, luckily I was able to come to the UK and so on. And then later on, we were all given British passports because my father was a teacher. So I didn't come here as a migrant. I came here as someone with a British passport.
We'd have taken you anyway, Harish.
Sorry?
We'd have taken you anyway.
I didn't quite hear you. Sorry.
I said we would have taken you anyway.
All right. No, I just wanted to explain because, I'm just putting myself in the context of my talk because I was able to see India as an outsider. I didn't turn a blind eye. I went into those situations to take photos because they were so important to me so that I can talk about it. And I hope that I was able to give you a few insights into.
Joe wanted to say something.
Yeah, Joy?
Jane wanted to say something.
Joe, you wanted to say something?
Yes, the linen and the spinning of the linen yarn.
Yeah.
The little, the box on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know someone who's actually got one of those on Sky.
Wow.
And I've seen somebody actually using it. It's absolutely fascinating.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, there are so many beautiful things in India. At the same time, there are so many sad things in India, as Nick was saying. But I hope that sooner or later they get the policy right and they get the health service offered to poor people. I mean, there are certain services, very basic services, if you can't afford to pay, then, you don't pay. But even doctor surgeries, they charge. So I think that, health service is badly needed in India. And also another thing is that, I mean, I didn't have time to go into it, but, you see lots of children get lost in India. You may have seen in films and so on, and that's very sad. To what extent it still happens, I don't really know. But, you see children from time to time, who are just roaming around the station and so on. We didn't see many this time, but last time when I was with Clemencia, we were in Mumbai as well. We wanted to go to Goa, but we spent a couple of days in Mumbai. And we went to a smaller station and someone had left a baby at the station. On a kind of a bench or somewhere, wasn't it, Clemencia?
Yeah, there was a column, and around the column they had built a bench. So it was a column surrounded by the bench, and the baby was there, and there were some women running to see what had happened, and they kind of, it looks as if they had adopted it, but they were talking about the fact that it was abandoned, and it was only weeks old, if that, very, very a tiny thing, very sad. So it's that of the children is heartbreaking.
What is the role of women? Is it still sort of the second class role, or has it improved slightly from your experience over the years?
Yeah, I mean, there are many educated women in India, and I think that the fact that Indira Gandhi was a woman must have made quite a bit of difference. And I think that many women in India, I mean, confidence in young people, and that's very, very encouraging. And I saw this about, I don't know, 10 years ago when I was there. Confidence in young people is really huge, because I think that they have sort of, got over the fact that, they were ruled by Britain for more than, I don't know, 200 years and so on. And I think that when people don't
I
want to
think
talk
that,
about it, they don't want to, they don't mind, fine. At the same time, some good things came out of Britain as well, which I think need to be recognized. Railway system, for example, the language, cricket, and so on. And I think that many, when you talk to people, they're very grateful for that, because it's opened up business for Indian business people because of the language. Sorry, Clemente, you were saying.
Yes, thinking about women, David, I think that women have a hidden power in India. They,
everywhere.
So I think they really are, they're really very powerful, and they manage their homes and their men very well. But they have this role, and obviously they
a
look
different
so
role rather than
a
good role or a bad role. Yeah.
Sorry?
Not so hidden in this house, David.
It was more clarifying.
In answer to your question, they play a different role rather than a subservient role. I mean,
Yeah, they don't have
the subservience.
Yeah.
In many cultures.
Yeah.
I
think, as you mentioned about the youngsters, and certainly all the youngsters that come over here, there is that they are just equal. There's no difference, and it's that generation that's now coming through. The technical ones, I think that they will start moving India forward. They need to move it forward, and hopefully, as you say, that will be what the change is.
Yes.
Yeah. What I think that is a shame is that when they come over, they adopt the Western fashion, let's say, and they got such a lovely fashion in India, those colors and the way they wear this, the elegance. And they come to the West and start wearing our trousers, our jackets, well, I suppose it's to do with the weather as well, but it is a shame, but well, I think in their private life, they will wear these outfits anyway.
I'm sure. And also another thing that just came to my mind is that in the past, there was this assumption that most people in India wanted to come and live in the West. It's not true. It is no longer true, because I was not this time, but in the past, I went there because I wanted to write a book about business in India and how I gave up the idea afterwards, busy doing other things. And I interviewed quite a few business people and so on, and quite a few people working in organizations at that time. I spent quite a lot of time in Bangalore, which is the IT center of India. It's like Silicon Valley in India. And people often say, listen, we don't want to leave India. We have a good life here. So if they have a good job in India, if they can make a living, the motivation to leave the country is not there. It's only if they have contacts and, in the UK or in other places that they come. And if they come, they come for a few years and then they go back and so on. Whereas
the computer industry sort of drives that, doesn't it? Because again, there's huge areas where they come in, they spend 6 months or a year working, and then they go back. They contract work, but they learn.
That's
like Abbey, a high number, and it leads. I think there's huge numbers that come and support the sort of the technical side of businesses. So they're certainly highly skilled and developed in that. They're well sought after, that's for sure.
I think they got during the premiership of the previous Prime Minister Singh. I can't remember his first name. he was a very brilliant economist, and I think him and his administration got the education right, particularly high, secondary and higher education, so that many people in India end up going to, those who can afford it, end up going to universities. So they still don't have the grant system that we used to have in this country. So again, I think it's to do with finance, it's to do with the cost of education and so on, which is quite high. And I've also met in the past parents who would remortgage their properties to send the children for higher education, because Indians actually regard education very highly. And I think that they have learned from the grammar school education system as well when the British were there. So, quite a few good things have come out of that as well. And I think that, we mustn't forget that and so on. But, India was very, very glad to be free and independent in 1947. But, it went through quite a turmoil initially.
Harish, there was a number of things somebody said in there.
Yeah.
That, I mean, too much to discuss almost. But there was one, I've got a couple of things. One item you referred to as about water. And I went to Bangladesh for quite a long time with a group of young folks. And what you said about, the small thing you said about water is actually really important. Because there's one statistic in Bangladesh, is that proportionately it has the most amount of water, fresh water in the world, and the least amount to drink, because it's so polluted. And
right.
Everybody has bottled water, and there's a reason for that, because it's so polluted. So, for instance, we take salad, as a norm here. Well, you can't eat it there, because it might be washed in water. And unless they wash it in bottled water, you're going to get ill. So what you said,
yes, exactly.
I just rang a number of bells with me. And
we saw we saw quite a few people eating in streets. Now, Clemenza and I would never do that because our immune system is not for that. It's not suitable for that.
I mean, like fresh juice and things, you have to make sure they don't mix it with water.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I very much agreed with, in a lot of your photos, with what Clemencia said about particularly women's dress there. I mean, they just looked immaculate. And the colours and cleanliness and everything was just amazing. And then the final thing I was going to ask, and it's I'm just being a bit nosy here in front of everybody, but I was mentioning that you were giving a talk yesterday, and somebody asked me the question, right, and I've now just realised today that your mother was born in India, you were born in Tanzania, and Clemencia is from Colombia.
Yeah.
Where on earth did you meet? In Antarctica or somewhere?
London.
All right. It's a long story. Have we got an hour? No, we met in London. We met in London. It was just.
We met in London, yes.
Just one of those. Met through a friend.
The heart of the world.
Yeah, I mean.
But somebody asked me.
We were both there at the right time, and that's it. And love at first sight, as they say.
Yeah. It works.
We're learning about each other.
Actually, sorry, there's one other thing. I was just, when you showed those, I'm sure a lot of us have seen those immaculate three-wheelers, the foots or whatever they're called. Can you imagine those on Sky?
Oh, amazing. Well,
the other thing was...
One thing...
I saw something writing.
Yeah.
It's now called Mumbai, yeah? So are Bombay potatoes now Mumbai potatoes?
Well, I think it's there was a certain amount of nationalism, I'm sure, and they said, well, we need to, we need to, be proud and start changing a few things and so on. But I mean, you know, I think many people still know Mumbai as Bombay. You know, there are businesses that call themselves Bombay, I think, to attract tourists.
Right.
We went to a fantastic place called Bombay Emporium, and they had wonderful, wonderful, you know, handicrafts and so on, which we did buy, you know. Yeah, amazing.
Can I say something in relation to what Charlie said of the three-wheeler cars? It was amazing the number of cars at 9 o'clock in the morning out in the streets fighting their way through. It was scary. We went on one or two of them at some point. Then we decided not to do it again because you start feeling very vulnerable. It's you are breathing the fumes, and they are all fighting for the way to get first to the destination, and that is really, really well. They are amazing because they can manage it with the three wheels and the speed. So it was quite interesting that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's. I mean, I think it was in the newsletter. One of the things I wrote about Bangladesh, that when I was there, there is no way I would drive a car there. Because the only rule on the road is that there aren't any rules on the road.
No.
It's still like it's like that in Mumbai as well. And sometimes you know, they had this traffic guy who was diverting the traffic, and I felt so sorry for him.
Oh.
Because I said to myself, he might get run over any time, but of course we didn't see that, you know. Having said, drivers are really good, you know.
They are good drivers.
There's a small gap between two cars, and you said to myself, my God, you know, am I going to be alive by the time we reach our destination? And we were. So you are living at risk. You feel that way, you know.
You appreciate life more, isn't it?
I mean, it's. I must say, you know, the last thing I want to say about India is that people often ask me. They said, you know, do you think I should go to India? I said, well, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a holiday, don't, because you'll be very tired. It is an adventure. But they said, well, what did you get out of India? So I said, well, you know, it's very simple. It's a very humbling experience that, you know, in spite of very little money to buy food and so on, people are happier, I think.
Yes.
You know, the happiness level, I don't know if someone has measured the happiness level in India, is quite high. And I think that many people in India, they know when enough is enough. They like to have a good time.
They're very kind as well.
Sorry?
Very kind people.
Very kind people, yes. I mean, they might not have anything and they offer you a cup of tea. I said, no, we just had tea. And the family that we met, I mean, you know, I can just picture them right now. When we were passing by and I started talking to them in Gujarati because they spoke Gujarati, you know, it was Gujarat, you know, Ahmedabad. And they said they were eating actually.
The second time.
Come and sit, you know, eat with us. I said, no, we've just eaten, you know. So we didn't say very much. It's only when we were passing by again that finished their lunch or whatever it was. Then we started talking, and I didn't want to disturb them while they were eating. So I said to Clemencia, you know, it just happened that we were going for a walk and there was nothing much there. So we were coming back and going back to our hotel to go somewhere else. And then that they had finished their lunch. So then I talked a bit more and so I took some shots and so on. But, you know, it's a way of dealing with people. If you ask them nicely, you know, they'll say yes to take photos because, you know, you are actually impinging on their personal life, private life. So it's important. I mean, we were taught on the course that if you do street photography, ask for permission to take photos. Unless you are in the street and there are so many people and you can't ask people. You just put the shutter down, you know, press the shutter. And
Harish, I'm going to have to disappear. I've got to go collect some stuff. So thank you very much. It's been absolutely superb.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully see all you guys again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Right, thank you, Harish.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Harish.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Well, you know, without you, I wouldn't have been able to do it, Ian. So
No,
thank
no,
you.
no. Team effort.
Well, this is
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, you both work so nice together with it.
I'm going to, Ian has asked me to actually send him a few images and on a PDF. So
Yeah.
those people who are not able to, they can download